Today, we take a good look at Paige and her season 4 traumas. We also take a look at Spike and Snake. Were they meant to be with each other? And also Emma's pettiness and what it cost her in season 4. This and a lot more today on Cutter's Degrassi WhatIfs. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter and I'm welcoming you to another Degrassi What If series. This is the 5th in the series, and I'd like to thank everyone for their support in supporting it. And of course, sorry about the reflection and all that. It's too late outside to have the light on, and basically, you may think that I'm missing a left eyebrow, but I'm not missing an eyebrow. But anyway, so today we're going to be looking at 3 key topics. First off is Paige in season 4. So basically, Paige came off as basically a clique girl that basically forced other people to join her clique or else basically be friendless and all that. One such a thing is that when Ashley used to be part of Paige's clique, but basically Ashley took one little minor mistake and then some issues, and Paige basically may have told people that Ashley is not worth it and basically forced Ashley to go golf and all that. She also seems to be bossy towards Hazel and Terry and basically forcing them to be part of her group and all that. So yeah, Paige looked bad and all that. In season 2, Paige actually was invited to a party, and unfortunately, a guy from Bardell named Dean actually raped her. So basically, Paige didn't know what to do or who to turn to. So basically, she kept things a secret. Unfortunately, Ashley realized something and basically said something about Paige. Now, a lot of people probably think that Ashley was getting back at Paige for the fact that Paige may have told people that Ashley was trouble. But Ashley actually was trying to help Paige out. So basically, Paige gets the courage to talk about her rape in a song, which sends Dean flying from the scene. And basically, Paige seems fine and all that. Season 3, she hooks up with Spinner, and basically they become decent people. And then, of course, Paige and Spinner had to deal with Rick abusing Terry and all that. But this is not the main cause of traumas in season 4. Now, season 4 starts with a two-parter, and basically the subplot is Craig gets money from his father and buys a guitar. But then, after finding out how bad Joey was financially, he decides to sell the guitar and give Joey the money and all that, realizing that he needs to help Joey out. But the main plot of the first one was that Spinner and Paige were kissing in Paige's car. But then all of a sudden, a police officer comes by. I think he's First Nations or anything. But anyway, basically, or Oriental. But anyway, he comes by and tells Paige that she filed a lawsuit against Dean for her rape and all that, and finally it's going to the courts. Paige feels bad about things because she feels that basically what happened at the party with Dean and all that is going to just freak Spinner out. And basically she doesn't want Spinner to find out all the gory details. But Spinner refuses to waver, saying that I'm there for you. I don't care what happened to you. And Paige says, you'll be hearing some very graphic stuff. But Spinner, to his credit, decides to talk to Paige at the trial. And basically, yeah, Paige gives her testimony. Dean's lawyer does everything in her power to basically get Paige to waver, but Paige doesn't waver. The judge says that Paige had some great confidence in all that. Unfortunately, due to lack of evidence, basically, Paige is screwed over. Now, a lot of people probably think that the lack of evidence was that the fact that Paige didn't really talk to Sylvie that much, and basically, that was basically Paige not telling anyone about this may have knocked her flat. But it was not her fault. No, it was not her fault. Like, she went to Sylvie frequently and often with the rape things and all that. I know she didn't want anyone to find out because of her reputation, if you will. But anyway, Paige gets the courage to go after Dean through Miss Sylvie. It just sickens me that Sylvie's testimony and counseling things notes were not really admissible in court because that could have helped out a lot. And of course, lack of evidence, and Paige didn't have a rape kit test. So, so basically, Paige ends up being upset. Basically, Dean gets off scot-free. Dean admits to raping Paige and basically said that he can maneuver the system all he wants. Paige crashes Spinner's car into Dean's car, takes a rap for everything, has to take a job to pay for Spinner's car, and basically, she's happy and all that. And then Rick Murray ends up coming a few episodes later and basically adding to her problems. And we can all guess about her role in the Rick Murray situation. Basically, she wants Rick out for what he did to Terry. She doesn't get her answers, and basically, her and Emma do the the orange ribbon silent campaign to drive Rick out. It doesn't work, and worse for Paige's clique is that basically Emma protects Rick from a savage beating because it was the right thing to do. Sadly, though, Paige's clique doesn't really want anything to do with Emma, and who knows, maybe they spread some stuff about Emma. So basically, Paige gets affected by the shooting because her mom texts her that there's been a shooting at the school. And Hazel looks at Jimmy's desk and assumes the worst, and it is the worst. So Paige, of course, is upset. Paige is there to deal with Jimmy in the hospital because, Jimmy got shot in the spine and all that. Paige still has a relationship with Spinner, but unfortunately with her working to pay off Spinner's car, Spinner falls in love with Manny during a car wash for the Power Squad. So basically, you have a boyfriend who actually is interested in Manny and all that. I mean, Spinner, really? So basically, they break off, and then basically, Paige is upset that Manny stole her man. All that. That led to another thing. And of course, Paige ends up having feelings for a yoga instructor who ended up being a student teacher, Mr. Olander. And basically, Paige and him like to spend time with each other. Paige doesn't mind it and all that, despite the fact that, the age difference and the fact the teacher's dating a student. Paige, of course, is spooked when Mr. Simpson ends up seeing them at a park. Basically, Paige actually takes marijuana before a university visit and basically fails her thing. And basically, Manny calls out Paige's relationship with Olander. Basically, Paige decides that she needs to leave the school or get out of media arts because she doesn't want to deal with this issue and all that. And to me, it's like, why is she protecting this gutsbag? Thankfully, though, Olander does admit to his mistakes. He gets canned. But the good news for Paige is that they can actually date because now that he's not a teacher, who cares? So Paige and Olander probably do something. But Olander goes to Yukon to plant trees and basically comes back a changed man and Paige a changed woman. And basically Paige ends up dumping him off because of things. But yeah, Paige had trauma and all that. I mean, and she also had that fight with Manny at the prom and all that, which was justified in a sense. So basically what I'm trying to say, guys, is that Paige's trauma in season 4. Now, the basic what if is basically what if Paige didn't go through season 4's traumas and all that? Well, basically, you would have had to cut through a lot of good storylines in season 4. I mean, we all knew in season 2 that Dean raped her and basically all that. And basically, she wrote a song and all that. The writers could have left it open-ended that basically Paige never got justice for what Dean did to her. And basically, the court system doesn't really help. But I think that the writers figured that Paige needed to get on the right track and basically feel good about herself. I mean, Paige hates herself in a sense because, what Dean did to her. And also that, Terry's in a coma and nowhere to be seen. I mean, of course, obviously, another massive trauma is that Rick came back into her life. And I know that Rick was trying to make amends and all that, but Paige didn't have the right to excuse him. Paige was upset that Rick came back no strings attached, all that. And also, basically, Mr. Olander. But of course, dealing with a guy getting away with rape, a guy who came back to Degrassi even though that he put someone in a coma, and her boyfriend cheating on her with a rival from the Spirit Squad because Paige actually had to use the money to help spin her out. You can tell she was not in the frame of mind. She basically was kind of hating herself. And with the Rick Murray situation, too. She probably thought that Rick had a gun, and then when she heard Rick had a gun, she thought, "Oh my God, I could have been targeted." So basically, Paige had to go through it. I mean, I know that people going through traumas and that, but Paige went through it. Paige found somebody who cared about her, although it was Alex, and there were no hints of Paige's being a lesbian and all that. We never saw the signs coming. So anyway, yeah. So I think Paige probably would have still had trauma, especially from Rick's situation. She would have had storylines that were unanswered, and basically, we don't know how Paige moves through things. All right, so that's number one. Okay, number two. Imagine a what if that basically does have something to do with the OG generation, Degrassi High, Junior High. Two characters that were in Degrassi Junior High and High, but never really connected with each other until the final season of Degrassi High. I'm talking about Snake and Spike, aka Archie and Christine. Now, of course, how Snake got into Spike's life is because Snake sometimes comes over for study sessions with Spike while not baby Emma, but toddler Emma is there, and basically, Snake takes a shine to toddler Emma and all that. I know that Snake has a girlfriend and all that, and basically, we don't see him in a relationship in season 1 and all that, but all that. But that changes to season 2 when Spike drops the bombshell to Emma that she's dating Snake, and Emma's like, "You're dating my teacher?" I mean, and Spike thinks that Emma's just being pathetic and all that. Emma is kind of needy and all that. But there's also the backstory that, Emma was probably going to be embarrassed that, she was in Snake's class and basically that he's dating her mom and all that. So, of course, Snake and Spike get married. Well, Spike proposes to Snake, which is funny. But Emma seems to be more accepting of it and all that, realizing that, her mom deserves to be happy. And Snake can be decent and all that too. So basically, Snake guides Emma through a lot of things. I know that Snake and Spike's marriage almost was ruined by the fact that Emma was upset over the cake guy doing the wrong decorations, her hair sucking because she forgot to take it out of her foil, Sean maybe coming back in her life when she doesn't want Sean in her life, and the fact that her mom might have a kid but might have it aborted, and also said, "I don't want to make the same mistake twice." Smooth move, Spike. Smooth move. So Emma feels compelled to tell Snake about this whole thing. Spike's not too pleased, but Snake tells Spike that at least somebody was willing to help. Someone was willing to talk to me and all that. I know it was Emma, but hey, what can you do? So basically, they have a talk, and they basically said for Emma's sake and for their sake, they could have the kid. And basically, they can try their best and all that. Snake and Spike get married. Emma is lucky about things, but basically, yeah, their relationship becomes something of an anomaly. Season 3, their relationship goes through when baby Jack comes through, and of course, when Emma is very peeved that Spike would keep the secret of Shane and all that. Of course, Snake thankfully decides to act like a good dad, or stepdad, if you will, and tells Emma the whole story about Shane. And basically, Emma realizes that she might be in the wrong. So basically, yeah, Spike and Snake went through an issue when Snake had chemo, and Spike was doing everything she can to cheer him up, including getting a laptop that Sean stole to spite Emma. But their relationship seems to be fine. But season 5 is when things tipped over. Snake was having a tryst with Hatzalakos at the same time as Emma was having a tryst with Peter. Emma feels compelled to tell Spike the truth about Snake. And unfortunately, Snake gets thrown out and Spike goes into a deep depression, and Emma basically has to do everything herself. She's trying her best. It's like Spike gave up and all that. And Emma, of course, feels terrible that she thought she was in trouble. But I don't think Spike held it against Emma, because at least Emma spoke out about something that bad. But Snake sells the motorcycle. Snake wins Spike back, and basically, everything is hunky-dory again. However, in season 7, after Snake gets accused by Darcy of stuff, basically Snake has to sit at home, but his lawyer does get him off and all that, and he's allowed to come back to the school. However, he refuses to come back to the school because of trouble, and it's mostly Lakehurst's fault, not Degrassi's fault. So basically, Snake stays home and all that, and you know, Spike is mad at Snake and all that, basically saying that you're letting Emma try to take control again. And the last time she did that, she had an eating disorder. And you can kind of see that basically maybe she's jealous that Emma's trying to cheer Snake up instead of her. It's her role to deal with Snake, not Emma's. So basically, yeah. And then she couldn't take it anymore with Snake and basically decides to leave the house with Jack in tow. Emma was willing to come, but Emma basically said, I have to do this. It's what I do best. And you can tell that Spike is a little protrude, but I think Spike basically knew that Emma was doing the right thing, and Spike did. And it's like, it's kind of weird with those two. It's like, do they deserve to get married? I don't know. So, big what if is, of course, what if Snake and Spike didn't connect? Well, a lot of things would have happened. For one thing, Emma would probably not have had a strong father figure. I mean, she was raised without a father figure for years. Maybe, probably Spike's parents, Spike's dad was basically the only male influence on Emma's life and all that. Maybe Emma would probably be looking for a male influence and all that. She has Spike, but you can go so far without a guy. So in a sense, I think Snake would not have had the lucky streaks and all that he did, and neither would Spike. Of course, their marriage opened up the fact that it was a connection to Degrassi High, and basically people forgot about that. But you also gotta realize is that for how Emma was raised and all that, and basically maybe it was Spike's fault for Emma being pushy and obnoxious, but Snake was the calming male figure, and he wanted to help Emma out in every way possible, especially with dealing with Shane's thing and all that. He also basically shows himself being a little bit overprotective, especially when Emma and Sean want to have sex and all that. But Emma does a presentation despite him and opens his heart. Yeah, I think basically Emma may have needed Snake to calm her down and basically tell her all these things and all that. Snake was a great guide to Emma in the past. So, yeah. Yeah. And finally, number 3 is Emma's pettiness. Let me explain. So basically, the first 3 seasons, Emma was really unbearable by a lot of people, probably in the internet community back in 2004. Emma didn't really make much of a presence until the 3rd episode, in the election episode, that basically had Marco go against Alex. The subplot was that Emma had just come off a breakup with Chris, but Chris basically wants to have drinks with Emma as friends, and Emma says okay. But then basically Manny notices that Liberty is going cuckoo and not really paying attention to math class, and Emma says it's her dyscalculia from season 1. And then Emma, I don't know if Manny purposely put the notebook down, but basically it says that Liberty loves Chris and all that. Emma basically is jealous. Not because Liberty is dating her ex, but basically the fact that if Liberty and Chris go out together, Liberty's kind of called a loser in the school circle, social circle. Basically, it makes Emma look like a total knob, if you will. Sadly, though, Liberty is told by Manny about the plan, and basically Emma loses Liberty and Manny as friends. And that leads to Emma wanting to find popularity. So she goes towards Paige's clique, towards the Rick situation, does the right thing in her mind by protecting Rick, but the Paige's clique basically frees her, and basically she's left without friends except for the Wacky Brain team of Toby, Rick, and Heather Sinclair, and then Jimmy comes in. So basically Emma lost a lot of friends and all that, and it was evident that basically, because she was petty and all that about Liberty, she didn't have friends to tell about this Rick situation. She only had Toby as a confidant, if you will. So the what if is, what if Emma wasn't so petty? Would that have changed things? In a sense, it probably would have. With me, I feel that, you know, Emma would not have been easily targeted by Rick. Rick had a sense that Emma was basically trying to find true love and trying to find a friendship and all that. Of course, Rick was upset that Paige seemed to be spewing lies in his mind about himself. So basically, I think if Emma wasn't so petty and all that, maybe Emma finds a new guy. Maybe Emma basically all that. Maybe Rick doesn't have eyes on Emma. Maybe, because Rick has eyes on Emma, basically feels that Emma's being brainwashed by Paige and all them. That's why he goes after her. But in the end, it's just malarkey in a sense. I mean, I know that this whole thing did speed up Emma's character development in a different way, but I mean, the writers kind of effed it up in season 5 by making her boy crazy when, in fact, she wasn't really boy crazy at all the first 4 seasons. But in a sense, I mean, Emma probably would not have been Rick's affection. But would Emma have dealt with the Rick Rory situation differently? Yes, Emma would probably have found out about Rick and says that, he deserves a second chance and we should give him another chance. She might have stepped in thinking that abusing a domestic abuser basically was contradictory. But in the end, Emma ended up being Rick's squeeze, if you will. And basically, yeah, her life just turned upside down. I mean, granted, she got Liberty and Manny back in the middle of season 4, but, you know, the time that she spent without them was basically critical for her development and basically screwed her over in a sense. So, yeah, being petty is not good and all that. I mean, I know Emma probably learned her lesson and all that, but still, I mean, it's just sucky. Anyway, so thanks for watching. Have yourself a good day.